We're gonna stay in Colorado now, where a Denver mother's death raising concerns about police response. The woman on with 911 for at least 12 minutes. This is her photo here before her husband allegedly shot her. Now, police reportedly refusing to release that call, but new recordings revealing what came over a scanner. Take a listen.
2112 South St. Paul Street. On a report of a domestic violence in progress. Your guys have got cars outside of a DV in progress. 2112 South St. Paul, 2112 South St. Paul Street. The wife on an open line, assuming that a male had a gun.
Siegel, an attorney and legal investigator. Kent Zimmermann, a National Law Journal contributor and former trial attorney. You know, when you first listen to the dispatcher, she seems very calm, but that's what they do. They kind of have to maintain that cool presence as to keep the people on the other end cool as well. But let's talk about those 12 minutes, guys. And Philip, I'll start with you. The 12 minutes it took police to get there. Are the police responsible at all because they took so long and this woman ended up dead?
Arthel, I really don't think so, just based on the fact that it was 12 minutes. No, this is not pizza delivery where we get there in 12 minutes or your pizza's free. The police have a lot of competing obligations when they're trying to figure out which calls they ought to respond to. And initially, the call here was that my husband is threatening to kill himself with our gun. It was not that my husband is threatening to shoot me. He then turned the gun on her. So initially, this was looking like a suicide and not like a domestic violence call. So I really don't see that with only what we know now that the police would be liable. The average response time in the United States is, I think, 8 or 10 minutes from police. There's nothing inherently unreasonable, I don't think, in a 12-minute response time. You certainly have to show me something to the effect that the police could have gotten there earlier and didn't want to get there earlier, or that the police chose to go and respond to a call that was less urgent, something less of an emergency than domestic violence.
Let me bring you in there. You also, the dispatcher hears the woman on the phone saying, please hurry. She's saying how her husband is talking about the end of the world and hallucinating. She said that he ate some pot-laced edibles, some candy before this all went down. And then she's saying, please hurry. And what do you say to that? Your take on this?
Listen, first of all, the home was only 1.1 miles away from the nearest police station. This wasn't a small substation. This is a very busy police station. So first of all, 1.1 miles. Second of all, it wasn't a 12-minute response time. Published reports say it was a 15-minute response time. That's double the average response time, more than double the average response time for Denver police for similar incidents. The police should have been there faster. Now, was it the police's fault? Maybe, maybe not. There's evidence that during the period since 2008, there's been massive cuts to the budget of the police department there. They've had to do more with less, like many departments around the country have. I don't say that this is necessarily the dispatcher's fault, not necessarily the police officer's fault, but did the municipality, did Denver get it wrong? Did they not have enough resources to get there? We'll see. This should have happened much more quickly. This is a violent situation. It was domestic violence, and everybody knows that domestic violence is one of the leading causes of injury and death in the country.
Yeah, and you hate to hear this stuff happen. Philip, so the husband, he's in jail, so he would normally be the guardian and protector of his wife. But so let me ask you, is there a way that her family could step in and perhaps file a wrongful death lawsuit?
Well, there is a way. They could always file a wrongful death lawsuit. But, you know, the other side of the case might be that, you know, part of the problem here was that there was a gun in the house and that the guy was using drugs and she chose to live there. So if they went in and said she was completely innocent and she was someone who had absolutely nothing to do with assumption of risk, I could see, I mean, I'm all in favor of the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms, but when you introduce guns into your house and drugs into your house, and if the police say, look, there were other things that were occupying us and we weren't at the station and we weren't 1 minute away, we were 12 minutes away, I don't know that a court is going to want to get in to the middle of that and decide that the police really should have been there sooner.
I don't think it's going to work to blame the dead woman.
Go ahead. What? What?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work to blame the dead woman. I don't think that anybody's going to have any sympathy for saying it's the dead woman's fault that she was killed by her husband who was high on drugs. The fact is, this is a tragic case. My heart goes out to this woman's family. You've got to realize the police should have been there more quickly.
Kent, a tragic case. I hate to cut you off, but I'm out of time.
Tragedy is different from
Kent Zimmermann,
damages,
Phil
economic
Siegel. We'll
damages.
keep this. We'll have to talk about this another time. It's really, really sad, especially when you see the photos.